Imagine two people standing at the exact same starting line. Same background, same education, same opportunities. 10 years later, one is still struggling to make ends meet, constantly stressed, reacting to life as it happens. The other has built freedom, wealth, control over their time, and a life that seems almost impossible from the outside. What changed? It wasn't luck. It wasn't talent. It was how they thought. Because the biggest difference between the average person and the top 1% isn't what they have. It's how they see the world. It's how they interpret problems, how they approach risk, how they make decisions, and most importantly, how they think about time, money, and themselves. Most people are raised inside a system that quietly programs them. From childhood, they are told to follow a predictable path. Study hard, get a good job, work consistently, save what you can, and hope that one day you'll have enough. It feels safe, it feels responsible. But what it doesn't do is create exponential growth. The 1% recognize this early, or they learn it through experience. They begin to question the path instead of blindly following it. They don't reject hard work, but they redefine what it means. To them, hard work is not just about effort, it's about direction, it's about leverage, it's about building something that continues to work even when they are not. And that shift alone changes everything. While most people focus on earning money, the 1% focus on building systems that generate money. They understand that time is limited. You can only work so many hours in a day. But systems, businesses, investments, assets can scale far beyond personal effort. This is why they move away from relying on a single income source. Not because jobs are useless, but because dependency is dangerous. They are always asking a different kind of question. Instead of asking, how can I earn more this month? They ask, how can I build something that earns for years? That question forces a completely different way of thinking. It forces patience, it forces planning, it forces discipline. And discipline is something the 1% value deeply. One of the clearest traits you will notice is their ability to delay gratification. While the average person seeks comfort now, the 1% are willing to sacrifice comfort for a larger future reward. They understand that every decision has a cost. Spending impulsively, avoiding discomfort, chasing short-term pleasure, all of these come at the expense of long-term growth. So they choose differently. They invest instead of spend. They learn instead of scroll. They build instead of consume. And over time, these small decisions compound into massive differences. But perhaps the most powerful difference lies in how they see the future. Most people think short-term. Their thinking is tied to immediate needs. Bills, expenses, daily stress. Their decisions are reactive. They are constantly solving problems that already exist. The 1%, on the other hand, think long-term. They design their lives years ahead. They are not just reacting to the present, they are shaping the future. They ask bigger questions. They think in terms of decades. And this long-term vision allows them to make decisions that others simply cannot see. Because when you think long-term, you stop worrying about small fluctuations. You stop reacting emotionally to temporary setbacks. You understand that growth takes time, that success is built slowly, layer by layer. And that brings us to another critical difference: how they handle uncertainty. The average person avoids risk. They fear failure. They wait for certainty before taking action. But the truth is, certainty rarely exists. The 1% understand this. Instead of avoiding uncertainty, they learn to operate within it. They don't take reckless risks, but they take calculated ones. They analyze situations, weigh potential outcomes, and then act, even when the outcome is not guaranteed. Because they know something most people ignore. Opportunity often hides inside uncertainty. When markets crash, most people panic. The 1% look for value. When industries shift, most people resist change. The 1% adapt and position themselves ahead of it. When challenges arise, most people feel overwhelmed. The 1% get curious. They ask, what can I do with this? This mindset transforms obstacles into stepping stones. It doesn't mean they never fail. In fact, they fail often, but they don't see failure the same way. To them, failure is not a final result. It's feedback. It's information. It's part of the process. And this is why they keep moving forward while others stop. Another defining trait of the 1% is their obsession with growth. They never assume they know enough. They never become comfortable with their current level of understanding. They are constantly learning, constantly evolving, constantly upgrading their thinking. They read books, they study patterns, they observe successful people, they analyze decisions, both their own and others, because they know that knowledge is not just power, it is leverage. One new idea can create a new opportunity. One shift in thinking can unlock a completely different path. And over time, this continuous learning builds something even more valuable than money: perspective. Perspective allows them to see what others miss. It allows them to stay calm when others panic. It allows them to make decisions based on logic instead of emotion. Because emotional thinking is one of the biggest traps that holds people back. Most people make decisions based on how they feel in the moment. Fear leads to hesitation. Excitement leads to impulsive action. Stress leads to poor choices. The 1% train themselves to think beyond emotion. They don't ignore feelings, but they don't let feelings control them. They step back. They analyze. They think strategically. They understand that success is not built on random actions. It is built on consistent, intentional decisions made over time. And behind all of this is something deeper: self-awareness. The 1% spend time understanding themselves. They reflect on their habits, their strengths, their weaknesses. They identify what is holding them back and actively work to improve it, because they know that external success is directly tied to internal control. If you can't manage your time, your money, your emotions, and your habits, you cannot build something sustainable. So they focus inward first. They build discipline, they build clarity, they build control, and then they apply it outward. They also develop a unique relationship with discomfort. Most people avoid discomfort at all costs. They stay in familiar environments. They choose safety over growth. They resist situations that challenge them. But the 1% do the opposite. They move toward discomfort because they understand that growth only happens when you stretch beyond what is familiar. Every new skill feels uncomfortable at first. Every big opportunity comes with uncertainty. Every level of growth requires a period of struggle. Instead of seeing discomfort as something negative, they reframe it as progress. If it feels uncomfortable, it means you are expanding. And over time, this mindset allows them to do what others won't. They take risks others avoid. They learn skills others ignore. They build paths others never even consider. And slowly, consistently, they separate themselves. So what does it really mean to think like the 1%? It means thinking beyond the present. It means valuing growth over comfort. It means making decisions based on logic, not emotion. It means building systems instead of relying on effort alone. It means embracing uncertainty instead of fearing it. It means understanding that success is not an event. It is a process, a long, often uncomfortable, but deeply rewarding process. And the truth is, this way of thinking is not reserved for a select few. It is learnable. It is buildable. It is a choice. Every day, in small ways, you are choosing how you think, and those thoughts shape your actions, and those actions shape your results. So if you want different results, you need different thinking. Because the gap between the average life and an extraordinary one is not as wide as it seems. It is built slowly through mindset. And if this changed the way you see things even slightly, don't stop here. Because this is not just inspiration. This is a shift in perspective. Start observing how you think. Start questioning your patterns. Start making small changes. Because those small changes, repeated consistently, create massive transformation over time. And at first, it won't feel dramatic. Nothing will suddenly explode into success overnight. It will feel quiet, almost invisible. A better decision here, a more disciplined choice there, a moment where you pause instead of reacting, a moment where you choose growth instead of comfort. But that's how real change works. Not in big, loud breakthroughs, but in small, silent shifts that stack on top of each other until one day they become impossible to ignore. And one day, without even realizing it, you'll look at your life and see something different. You'll see clarity where there was confusion, control where there was chaos, opportunity where there was limitation. You'll notice that the things that once felt overwhelming now feel manageable. The decisions that once felt difficult now feel natural. The mindset that once held you back no longer has power over you. And in that moment, you'll realize something powerful. You didn't just change your results. You changed the way you think. You changed the way you respond to challenges, the way you see opportunities, the way you define success. And that shift doesn't just improve one area of your life, it transforms everything connected to it. Because once your thinking evolves, your standards rise. And once your standards rise, your life follows. And that is where everything begins.